Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How's it going? Good to be back on stream. Good morning, Chris, Max, Sheps, Will, Abel. All right, so I probably didn't pick a good week to start going live again, because, well, for one, y'all know the government shutdown is still going on, and then this should be CPI week. Also, we have earnings Tuesday, Wednesday, big earnings. Yeah, so this might not be a great week. Hey, Erlen, good afternoon from Norway. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. But let's hop into some analysis here real quick. Here, let me mark my, I know we're going to have an opening range gap here. So let me throw this opening range gap on here. All right, we got that opening range gap. So let's start at the weekly chart here. Got a lot of annotations going on at the moment, but last week we had an inside week from the previous week. And then this week, basically we opened here. We're pushing up. We already had a wick down. So here I got my little drawing tool here. We had a wick down, opened up. Now I'm expecting maybe we'll push up. Let's see. We're taking last week's high now. Because also if we close up this week, we're going to have this big old volume imbalance. Last week, you see we came down into this weekly fair value gap. And let me hop down to the daily chart. The daily chart, the same thing. You know, we've been kind of in this indecisive area after that big drop on that Friday. We had that huge drop here. Then you can see every day we've just kind of been in this little zone. We have this daily fair value gap, which I now mark those with the 4 quadrants, because as you can see, after we created that fair value gap here, the next day we came in, we traded in the lower half. The next day, look at that right there, traded up to the upper quadrant. The following day, we basically rebalanced it and then dropped. So now we're pushing up, and again, same thing. If we close up today, we're going to have this big volume imbalance right here. So I'm curious to see if we're just going to run up and take this high and push down and close to basically immediately rebalance that. Or, you know, we could, I'm pretty neutral overall right now. I'm more bullish, but I can completely see this sweeping here. Maybe hit this, we have a 4-hour gap, rebalance that, and I really want to see what we're going to do here. If we're going to leave that open or not. And then if we do come down, I do have this discount wick marked out in 4 quadrants as well, just to see what we do there. And like I said, this week with the earnings should be CPI. We'll see what it looks like this week. Going down to the 4-hour, basically I'm gonna do what I normally do. My top down analysis here. The 4-hour, yeah, we have some fair value gaps in this leg up. We still have that big fair value gap here that I was talking about. So I have had this one marked out for a while now just to see if we're going to push up and rebalance it. I've been under the impression that for the most part, it looks like we're going to invert this daily fair value gap. And I really think, we have these highs up here. Maybe we're going to shoot for them. Not saying today, but we'll see. The 1-hour, I really don't have too much to go off of either on the 1-hour that I'm worried about. Still same thing on the left here, the big fair value gap. The push up, this whole leg up, we've used the fair value gaps to keep going. I've had this pullback now. There's really not much I'm worried about on the 1-hour. The 15, as you know, is where I get most of my analysis. And the 15, so let's spend a little moment here because we opened and just shot straight up. So I can spend a little time here. At the moment, we have this swing low down here, obviously. before we just shot up, I was looking at this high to see pretty much what we looked like in between. Now that we've taken this high and this high back here, I'm pretty much focused on this low and pretty much where we're at now. So I'm going to zoom in to here now. And I want to see, does anything look obvious? Now, I did mark out my, I'm lagging here. Okay. I was lagging on my chart. I don't like that. So I did mark out my London range. I've been doing that as well. Even if we took the London, like down here, we took the London low, but I'm marking out the range because oftentimes we'll come back into the London range during the New York session, the morning session. So I usually mark that out with the midpoint of it, basically equilibrium of the London range. Because if we're already outside of it and then we open, there's a high chance, high probability we come back into that range, and I want to see that. But other than marking that London, we do have the Asian range low down here that we haven't hit. I'm not really expecting much from that. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything obvious here. And there's really not. I do have that same sell side down here from last week that we didn't hit. So I have that, but it's just, I'm not expecting like, oh, we got to get down there. There's really not a big expectation today. Honestly, and it kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. And so I have that. And when I don't have anything else, so, and I'm going to stop rambling here in a minute and talk to you guys, but I got to, you know, get through this part first. But basically how I've been trading the last few months is a combination of the 2022 model. As y'all know, I trade ICT concepts. Combination of the 2022 model mixed with the 2024. I found the 2024 is a lot more my style because I just trade that, you know, 30 minutes to 1 hour after the open, basically. So that's a lot more my style. So I combine what I've learned with the 2022 model with a lot of the reading, a lot of the levels, a lot of the things, with a lot of the 2024. So in this case, there's nothing too obvious for me. So basically, what I'm going to do is I wait for after 7 a.m., like the 2024 model suggests, right? And I want to see this vertical line is 7 a.m. And I wait, does anything shape out or form after 7 a.m.? And this is where the 2024 model comes into play. And then I start looking for relative equal lows, imbalances, and relative equal highs. So, of course, we had this 15-minute fair value gap here, which we went right into, and then we're shooting up. We didn't really have, we did leave this high here and this high. So we did leave relative equal highs right there, went down into this fair value gap, and we've taken off and went up. That's a move right there. That's pretty much the only thing I was kind of looking for. For me, obviously there's no setup in that. There was no setup in that. So then I dropped down to the 5, and I kind of want to look at the same thing from the 5-minute. Is there anything? And there really wasn't. I noticed this area here that we might have something that looks decent, but it'll show up on the 1-minute because the wicks are just so close together. So I wasn't too concerned about that either. And then other than that, like I said, there was nothing else. We're leaving this high up here, and that's right where that London high was. Pulled back. Other than that, I didn't have much. Then go to the 1-minute. And this is our low way down here. So I wanted to basically focus on that up to where we were. And this is that area I mentioned where it's we kind of had something, but it wasn't too good. So I marked that as a minor sell side. It's just under the midnight opening price and 8:30 opening price. Other than that, we have the low way down here at 7 a.m. So I marked that as my sell side. And now we're doing a nice run up. So basically for me, I'm more long biased, but I'm not extremely convinced. I just have to wait for something very obvious. If this thing just keeps running up, I'm probably not it sucks, but I'm probably not going to get a trade. However, if we because we are above the daily fair value gap. If we run up, maybe hit a certain area, and it shows me something very obvious, then I may take something. But right now, I'm just kind of sitting on my hands until the market really gives me something. So we'll see. Doesn't look great. You only hear me on one headphone? That could be something. Let's see. Let me see. There might be something in my setting because I use a my mic. It connects to this device. I forget what it's called. Let me see if there's a setting. Could be a setting somewhere. It's supposed to convert it to both, but how about now? Do y'all hear me on both? Oh, hold on. I think I see. You do? Okay. Yeah, I found the setting then. Cool. UK futures trader. Yes, I use the affordable indicators trade copier now. If y'all have kept up with me, I have to get new accounts. If you've seen that whole thing, don't really need to get into that too much, but I will be adding more. So right now I'm just starting off with my live. This is my live account that I'm gonna be trading, my personal live account. I'm adding more Apex funded accounts, but yes. And then what I'm gonna do too is once I have those up and ready, on the screen here, you see the that area where it says not financial advice, don't copy trades, which don't copy my trades, by the way. I'm going to replace all that with that entire affordable indicators tool, the copier and dashboard. And what I did was I actually have always used the dashboard for a while, but I haven't used the copier. And because I always use the Apex copier. But I talked to Joel, the owner of Affordable Indicators, a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me, well, he made a video about it, but he also was telling me about how they fixed, and they're the only copier that fixed the issue with, there's like a lag and a glitch with NinjaTrader. And sometimes it'll reverse your positions when you exit trades, and also sometimes there'll be a lag. So when you're all flat, you'll still, in NinjaTrader, it looks like you still have orders open when you probably don't. Like Rhythmic, and this is mainly with Rhythmic, but it'll flatten your Tradeovate accounts very well too. But it'll look like you have positions open, but you actually don't. And so it clears all those out. So the copier has a lot of like advancements that he added to it. So I started using it, and I really like it. It's super fast, and it's pretty easy in my opinion. I plan on doing a video on that as well, just that tool and how to use it and all the features, because I really like it. So I started using that as my copier too. How's everybody doing? It's been a while. I'm excited to be back. Not expecting a ton of people on today. Hopefully, as I keep doing it every day. And just as a reminder, if there's ever a day that I'm not going to be on, whether it's news or something going on, I'm going to mention that in my posts section on YouTube. I'll mention it, and of course, you'll always see a upcoming live video scheduled if I am going to be live. I plan on doing it pretty much most days, just about every day. So, hey, David, the affordable indicators copier. Not do a tutorial on it, but man, that thing is awesome. thing is awesome. It has a lot of features, and there's actually a risk management part built into it as well, where you can set your daily take profit, your stop loss. It'll lock you out. It'll do. So you remember, if y'all remember, I made a tool to kind of do that, a discipline tool, and Affordable Indicators has a lot of the features I wanted to put into my tool, and I ended up not getting that far. For one, because I didn't know how to do it myself, and I had to try to find people to do it, and to basically explain what I wanted, and them doing it was a little harder than I expected. But Joel at Affordable Indicators, he knows how to do it all himself, so that's really cool. All right, so yeah, I was still using the Apex one as well, and I really didn't have issues with it either. But whenever I heard about some of the fixes that are, I guess, solutions that Affordable Indicators came out with, which I knew, like I see that glitch all the time whenever the copier would flatten my positions. I'm like, okay, I hated it because in NinjaTrader it still looked like I had open positions, and I knew I didn't, but it just made me nervous to leave it like that. So I'd keep flattening until it was clear on NinjaTrader. And I never really had problems with it reversing trades for me. And that could be, I don't know why. Maybe because I take market orders. I don't know. But I never had problems with that. But once I heard about the solution fixing that glitch with NinjaTrader, I was like, well, let me give it a try. And then when I tried it, I was just like, oh yeah, this is pretty nice. It's pretty. I like the interface and everything too. You can customize it, but and another thing. Okay, so here's another thing I liked about the Affordable Indicators too. You know how like most indicators or tools are ran on you, David. You mentioning being Apex or servers. Reminded me of this part. So, most tools are ran on servers. Or you have to at least, give your machine ID and stuff like that. And being that I had a tool that I had to put machine IDs in, I know kind of how that works on the back end with NinjaTrader. And so with my tool, people would have to send me the machine ID. I have to go put it in. I guess Apex kind of has their own servers and they do it on their back end. But you know how you have to, when you open your NinjaTrader and all that, it pulls up the Apex server, everything runs. Affordable Indicators, when you log in to their website, like under your members site profile, there's a section you just go into. It says machine ID. You just go copy your machine ID, you paste it in there, you put it in there, and it's instant. And once you put it in there, the indicator or the copier itself is an indicator. So I don't know. It's just super smooth. That's funny. Futures Trader said, waiting on a feature that if you take a loss, it connects you to a therapist. You get a telecheck. They call you. Take a loss. Is everything okay? Yeah, so I'm not... All right, and another thing, a lot of people saw that I was posting. I'm going to do some giveaways for some Apex evals as well. So I do want to mention that. I'm going to do some of those. I'll do those this week. I kind of want to do them randomly, but I do want people to know about them as well. But at the same time, y'all know I've never done giveaways and stuff like that live because I didn't really ever want my channel just to be, people flocking over for giveaways, because I always wanted the main focus to be trading and learning and getting better. So, so that's why I feel like when you start doing a ton of giveaways, people just show up and you get a lot of trolls and stuff. But I will be doing I have 25 giveaways. Talked to Apex about that, and I have 25 giveaways. So I want to do 5 a day just to get things going again. And basically, it's going to be just random YouTube giveaway, pretty easy. And I probably will start those. Yeah, I'll probably start those tomorrow. I just wanted to get the stream going first and get some people kind of coming back on and get going. But I was debating. I was thinking about doing those next week. But then after seeing how probably this week's going to be, I might as well just do them this week to have at least a little something, a little entertainment. If I'm not expecting to take a bunch of trades. Yeah, I really don't have a lot of expectation today, unfortunately. Yes, Max, I still only take 1 trade per day. So that's still my rule. Now there's a caveat to that rule. If I take a break-even trade, then that I don't consider as my 1 trade. And because there's times where I have a good read on the market, I have my framework, I have everything good, and maybe I just moved too early, or maybe it pulled back, knocked me out, and I'm like, oh yeah, now it's still going to go. My framework didn't change. Then I'll hop back in. Not all the time, but I'll do that. Otherwise, yeah. And that whole purpose, if y'all have been following me, is because I frame out and I'm looking for something very specific in the morning, and it's either there or it's not there. And, that's how I look at it. So right now, I mean, there wasn't anything very specific I was looking for. So when that happens, I just kind of wait and see if it shows me something that I can trade. Otherwise, if nothing ever really shapes up by about 10:20, 10:30, I pretty much know. And if nothing shapes out by then, I just call it. I'd rather come back the next day. Chris, YouTube XP thing. I have no idea. I didn't set that up. So I don't know what that is. I just see a bunch of crowns with numbers numbering y'all. I have no idea what that is. Oh, you know what? I did use a new bot. So I used to use Stream Elements bot that would moderate the channel, make sure there's no spammers and stuff. And I switched to Nightbot. So maybe that's what it is. Because Nightbot does cool giveaways, and I knew I was going to do a giveaway. So I wanted to switch to that when I was trying to figure stuff out. So maybe that's a Nightbot feature. Actually, I think that's what it is, Chris. I think it's a Nightbot feature. Yes, I'm using the continuous contract symbol. That's mainly because of the daily chart. It really doesn't make a difference, but the daily chart. So if I go to the daily chart, it's a lot more clear. Like I can go back and it shows me a lot more, especially like with rollovers. I don't feel like I'm losing data, and I can see just a lot more. That's the main reason for the continuous contract. Yeah, I've watched ICT's videos that he started last month. Yeah, there's some good stuff in it. There's some good stuff. I haven't watched the last few, but I did watch most of them. Yeah, I did watch most of them. Which is funny. So, like, he talks a lot about the discount wicks, premium wicks on the daily chart. I've always watched the midpoint of a long wick. I've always watched the midpoint. I've never really marked them out in quadrants, and I really never looked at all of them the way he explains in those videos. And I still don't really, but I'll just kind of like take note of them, I guess, now a little bit more, but yeah, so basically what I want to see today or the rest of this morning. Well, first of all, if it comes down, it's got to be obvious to me, right? Would got to have some displacement. We've got to have a good market structure shift, all that. There are reasons it could come down, but there's reasons it can keep going up. So just got to wait. And I do want to see if we're going to reach the high of this 4-hour fair value gap and rebalance that, and then what we do from there. If we reach that, and then we have some displacement down, then, you know, we might be reaching for some things lower, but right now I'm not convinced on anything. Oh yeah, the suspension block. Yeah, I learned. Yeah, he taught the suspension block. That's pretty cool. You found an indicator for it. Nice. They're easy to see too. Just a volume balance on the top or the bottom. Or, I mean, the top and the bottom of a single bar. And the interesting part is you don't have to have any gap. As long as there's a volume imbalance at the top and the bottom, that's a suspension block. Of course, you don't see those as much, but I've seen them. Oh, you have some outages, huh? AWS outages. Trade copier doesn't work. Project X is dead. Whoo, man. That's not good. I guess the benefit of me only trading my live account right now is I don't have to worry about any of that. It sucks that, but as y'all know, look, I don't, those accounts, I had them for over a year. Spent less than $3,000. It was like $2,700 total on them. And this year alone made almost $110,000 in my bank account from those accounts. So that, as y'all know, when you have downtimes or something goes bad or whatever, you got to learn from it, but you got to find the silver lining in it. Like, you just have to, because if you hang your head on like, man, that sucks how bad things happen, then it just puts you in a bad state of mind, right? So that's what I'm just focusing on. And then when I replace them, which should be here pretty soon, then, you know, the new journey starts. So the cool thing is, hey, Chris, thanks, man. The cool thing is that now that I'm streaming live, I'm going to kind of open up that journey with everybody of seeing fresh accounts from beginning to, who knows if there's hopefully there's not an end, right? But we'll see. So we'll kind of do that together. And look at that. First day on stream, and Chris got a little donation here. So what I've been watching a lot too, and it's explained in the 2022 model on the 1 hour chart though, a lot about the your market structure in terms of swings, the swing high. So long-term highs, intermediate-term highs, short-term highs. I've been focusing a lot on those as well when I'm looking for a reversal. So, like, in this case, if we end up getting a reversal, I like to, you can actually see the market. So most people are only going to see a market structure shift like this, where you have your high, low, higher, high, and then you make a lower, right? You have a market structure shift here, come back. Like, that's how most people are only going to see a market structure shift. I've been really learning, and it's been pretty good, seeing it from the swing highs. So basically having your long-term high, right? Pulling back and then creating a short-term high, pulling back. And this is where some people get eaten up. They think we have a market structure shift, but then we do another run that's lower than the long term but higher than the short term. And that's going to be your immediate term high. And then you see it come back down, create another short-term high. And from there, that's where I'm expecting my displacement and fair value gap. Right here, fair value gap, return to there. And that's how I've been seeing a lot of the market structure shifts, by looking at the swing highs versus just looking for this pattern right there. Because when you see that, like here, you can say, oh, we got a market structure shift. If there's a fair value gap in here and you short that and put your stop up here, a lot of times we'll see another run up, and that's your immediate term high. And you get wiped out there. Be like, and I've done this before in the past where I'm like, man, if I would have just had my stop up here, it wouldn't have hit me and I could have kept going. But sometimes that stop up there is too big. So you have to be careful with that. So I've been waiting for this type of structure lately and taking this entry. Yeah, it's a little bit lower, but if you have a target down lower, then you're fine. And then you don't take any of this heat. So hope that makes sense. I've been doing that a lot. Just wanted to at least have something I can point out and say as we're watching this. This mark is probably going to be, I'm not expecting anything today. We'll see, but, and it sucks because tomorrow also, I believe it's Netflix earnings tomorrow afternoon after the close. So maybe we'll see something at the open, but, and then Wednesday, I think it's Tesla earnings. So, but hey, y'all know me. I don't get in here. I don't force stuff. I'm not here for the pure, there's some other entertaining channels that do more than just trade. So I'm here to trade. So at this point, I'm waiting to see if we're going to rebalance this gap. All right, it's 10:02, so our opening range has finished, or we have our opening range from basically 9:30 to 10 a.m. here. So we'll see if we come back into it at all, or what we're going to do. I really want to see, would prefer it just to come up and hit this, the high of this 4-hour fair value gap. But I really don't have much to target either. I've been trying to keep my charts a lot cleaner. So I haven't been marking everything, like all my 4-hour fair value gaps and 1 hour. Even the 15-minute ones I don't mark as often. I know they're there. But really, like I said to you earlier, the move, that was probably the move right here. This is the 15-minute chart. In this fair value gap, it left relative equal highs right there. And that, I mean, there wasn't even anything for me to trade there, but just kind of mentioning that was it. This high, left that high, pulled back right into this fair value gap right here, and then took off. Let's check this fair value gap right here. Yep. Look at the bodies. They didn't close. They stayed in the upper half, wicked down a little bit below, and that was it. Hey, futures trader. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, y'all are being so nice on my first day back. UK futures trader. Sorry, I can't leave the UK out. That's important. That's awesome. Oh, nice. You've been using that trade journal. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad it helps. It's been, I put it together as I'm not Chris. Chris got bumped to number 2. Um, yeah, I really don't know what makes the crown numbers. That's funny. Anyways, yeah, that trade journal. I'm glad you like it. I put it together, and I still use it. Well, since I blew my accounts, I haven't. But yeah, I love that thing. Pretty easy. Can't beat free. Can't beat free. For the longest, when I was the first few years, I really didn't want to spend a lot of. I know you got to spend money, right? You got to spend a little money here and there, but I really, when you're not making money, like a lot of money consistently, it's like, yeah, these online journals, they're good, but man, you could spend $50 a month easily. And it's like, do I really need to do that? Not really. Yeah, Chris is a tiara. So, it could be a crown or a tiara for everybody. I don't know. Shadow. Good to see you, Shadow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised either. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for hopping in. Good to see you too, Shadow. Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah, slow grind up. Like I said, there's no news. There's really maybe no news this week. It's supposed to be CPI week. Uh, Again, earnings tomorrow, Wednesday. So man, I don't even know about tomorrow. We might have a slow grind tomorrow as well, and then y'all know how those Netflix earnings and then Tesla earnings on Wednesday. So, we'll see. Paid to be patient. Sometimes, you know, we got to be extra patient. It's one thing to be patient during a session, like one trading session, and then it's another thing to know you got to be patient for multiple days. And it's like, oh, man. And especially when you're using a prop firm. Because we know there's, uh, certain thresholds you got to hit, days you got to hit, things like that. So it's like, man, if I know I can't take a, and I feel like honestly that's where a lot of people's downfalls are. And I speak by experience. Y'all know everything I say is by experience. So that's a lot of downfalls is that we know we have to hit these thresholds. So it's like, man, really I shouldn't trade the next 3 days. Just for example, I'm just making that up. If it's like I shouldn't trade the next 3 days, but then we know we have these thresholds we got to hit for prop firms. It's like, man, I don't want to lose these 3 trading days because we know it's trading days, not just regular days. And then puts that extra urgency on us that we shouldn't have. We're so close to that high of that 4-hour fair value gap. I'm really not expecting much, even if we hit it. I'm not really not expecting it to hit it and displace or do anything. To be honest, I'm probably just going to wait for 1020, 1020, 1021 and see if we get any kind of anything. And if not, I'm probably not going to, that's probably going to be my day, unfortunately. Max, how much longer do we think the shutdown will last? It depends on how deep down a rabbit hole you want to go. I'm hearing so many different things. And, you know, of course, like they say, everything's a conspiracy until conspiracies come true. I'm not speculating, but I'm hearing a lot of. So there's a lot of things happening with the gold prices, gold QE, quantitative easing for gold. I don't know if y'all have seen that. That is very, very interesting. And there's a lot of speculation of stuff happening. There's a reason, like stuff. The reason why the government shut down, so that way stuff can happen in the background that can't be controlled. Now, I don't know. Like I said, that depends how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. But for sure, gold has been being repriced. There's quantitative easing happening with gold. That, I mean, and why they're doing that, it remains to be seen. But there's some stuff happening, and I don't believe it's just about policy. Now, of course, if one side wants certain things done, and they're doing things in the background, and then another side don't want those done, the only way to end the shutdown is for them to both agree on the policy to pass. Now, we know it's not just a bill to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to fund the government and keep going, right? There's all the other stuff in that bill that they're going back and forth on. So, obviously, somebody's going to have to, you know, accept terms that they don't want to accept. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I can't imagine it'd go on for too long, but we'll see. That's good. That's the right way to think about it. Not stressing over the capital. That's why y'all know I've always talked about you can't look at your P&L. You can't look at, you know, while you're in a trade. You just can't focus on the money. I always say that you can't focus on the money because everything you do, the effect of it, the byproduct of it is going to affect money. So if it's going to have a direct result to money, you don't need to focus on the money. You got to focus on everything else. And that's either going to give you a result, a positive result, or a negative result. So you got to focus on the process. The Asia Open, I mean, I personally don't like the Asia Open because the Asia session, even in general, because that out of all sessions, that's going to be the lowest volatility typically, and the least amount of volume with all the sessions. If I had to choose a different session, it'd probably be the London. I just don't want to wake up that early for me, because for me that would be like I wouldn't get no sleep, literally. So I wouldn't do that. But I'd probably choose the London session. I've tried the Asia session, but it's also typically very slow. So I don't like slow markets. Nice. You're in Max. You're in a gold trade now. Awesome. It's probably going to go up. Yeah, Shadow. Somebody said that earlier. A big outage. So Amazon, Snapchat, all kind. Okay. Webull, Robinhood. I wouldn't be surprised if Tradeovate had an issue. I haven't had no issue. And actually, since I'm sitting here, let me refresh my chart. I like to refresh every now and then because I noticed sometimes, see, look at this big gap right here. That's not real. That does not exist. So sometimes I have to refresh because it'll put these like false gaps or leave out stuff. Okay, so let me mention this. So you see how we're pulling back, right? We're coming down. Look at all this smoothness it's leaving up here. I'm not falling for any fake short right now. Even if we get a market structure shift, I'm not considering that, because like even if we take a low and we have some fair value gaps, I'm not falling for it. You ain't gonna get me today, market, because okay, I shouldn't say that because it might get me. But anyways, if it comes down with this smoothness it's leaving right here, right below that 4-hour fair value gap, the high of it, I don't trust it. I don't trust unless it's like really obvious big displacement with a nice fair value gap. I really don't trust it. Oh, you've heard conspiracy? No, so the conspiracy theories I'm talking about, it wasn't. I haven't heard that one, but the ones I've heard revolve around crypto, driving gold up, and then buying crypto. And predominantly like the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, stuff like that. It's not too far-fetched, but I don't know. All right, let's see. It's almost 10:20. So I say 10:20 because I haven't heard of any macro or anything, but I always see a movement in price at around 10:20, 10:21. If y'all have heard anything about that time, let me know. I haven't, so I've just noticed that before, like forever. Yeah, Shadow, I've been increasing positions. Let's just say. I'm not a big crypto person. I like crypto for the long term. I'm not definitely not a day trader or even a swing trader on crypto. If I buy crypto, I'm holding it forever. Until unless if like, you know, it's disappearing on the off the face of the planet type holding at some point, then it's like, hey. So if I ever disappear and y'all never hear from me, that might be why. Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't hold that much crypto. Nice. You bought it 24 cents before they banned it. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it was so cheap. And after all that, the lawsuit and all that passed, man, that jump from there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't think we'll ever. Well, I'll never say that with crypto. I've said that before, like, oh, I don't think we'll ever see this price. And then, like, you have a 90% crash. I forgot to bring my water. All right. Well, y'all. It's like I said, I wasn't expecting much, and it's proving that there may not be much. So, and that's the thing too. I always encourage everybody to have the right mindset before they're trading. Like, don't be like a lot of these people you see just YOLOing stuff. I mean, if that's what you want to do, cool, but you're not gonna find that here. Have the right expectation when you sit down to trade. And I always want to tell myself every day, all right, if it's the way it was today, I'm not expecting anything. However, there's some days where I'm like, oh, I know it's going here. This level or whatever. And you just got to wait for it. So let's see. There's still nothing. And what we could see, though, like, you could see some minor. So we do On a small scale, you can look at this as, okay, we had the swing low, right? We took that swing low. We have a fair value gap here. It very well could return to this and slow and make its way down. And you might be able to get something, but to me, that's lower probability. And it may, you know, run to this low or this low. And I believe there's a 15-minute, there's a 15-minute gap right here. So it could pull up into this, run right down to that 15-minute fair value gap, get you a little trade in there. For me, that's lower probability, though, because I'm not set on we have to come lower. I'm not set on we have to go higher. So it's just kind of lower probability. However, it could be a low risk. Let's see what that would look like. But then again, this smoothness right here, there's gonna be liquidity up there. It could you only had a 14-point stop. You could just say, hey, let me take a risk, right? Try to get a nice little trade. But to me, it's not worth it. Because I see this as a potential stop run right here up into that 4-hour fair value gap. If it would have already hit that 4-hour fair value gap, then maybe. But because we have this right here, I see that as a potential stop run. And you see how it completely said, I don't care about that fair value gap. Basically, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait and see if we run these highs right here and hit this 4-hour fair value gap and see what it does from there. And if it just keeps like slowly going up, if we don't have much reaction, then I'm probably going to call it a day. But if we do, which I don't think we will, I'm not very convinced. Like I said, I don't think so. But if we do a nice little run, stop run here, and then have a pretty quick reaction to displace back down with a fair value gap, give us a little maybe breaker, right? With an inversion, fair value gap, maybe we could run back down to the 15-minute fair value gap. At least that would be my low-hanging fruit anyways. Otherwise, nothing from me. And sometimes, like, I see some charts, people zoom in, like, a lot like this. And I don't like doing that all the time because it can be deceptive. You can look at it, and if you get, like, a lot of bars that look like these, right? And then you get a bigger bar like that or a bigger one like that. Or let's say one that just, like, comes down. You can mistake that for displacement when... Actually, it's not. When you zoom out, right? You zoom out, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't really much. Feel like you're being called out? I'm not calling you out, but if you feel like it, I don't know, maybe. Just kidding. Shadow. Nice, Max. Max said he's risk-free now on his bullish gold trade. Sweet. That, for those of you that don't know, anybody that doesn't know, because I've gotten a lot of new people on my channel here, so I don't know if the new people are new to trading, or just new to my channel, probably a mix. Which, by the way, for those that are brand new and don't know really anything about trading, because I do have people message me saying like, "Hey, I want to get into trading. I don't know anything." And it's kind of hard to, really, like, those people need like basic stuff, right? Like basic, and be completely lost with everything I'm talking about right now. Like, they need to know what is a candlestick. So that's what my Futures for Beginners course covers, that stuff. And that's still on pace to be out by the end of the month. Finished all the recordings on it this past weekend, so finally excited about that. It's a free course for any newbies. See, look, here's another data example of a data glitch right here. Look at this. See, you gotta watch this. Right here, we have this candle, and then it opened here. So like that doesn't exist, because you have the close here and then the open here. That would be like almost like a new day opening gap type of thing. I don't believe that happened. So if I refresh my chart, that'll probably go away. Oh, nice. You found out from the Apex, from the Facebook group. Awesome. Oh, maybe that is there. I don't know. It's still there. It's just you don't see that often randomly. Maybe that's because that's the 10 o'clock. Oh, no. Look at that. It goes from 10:01 to 10:03. I'm missing a minute. Jeez. Maybe there is something going on with Trade of 8. Because that's not right. Let me refresh again. Ah, there we go. It's fixed. 10:01, 10:02, 10:03. See? That's annoying. But now I have this one. Now I have this gap. Eh. Refresh. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. So you got to be careful with that. And I'm using CQG live data. Yeah, so I don't know if it's just the API between TradingView and the data or what in Trade of 8. I don't know. Well, that's part of Max. So that's what I'm hearing is part of the QE stuff going on. That gold is being repriced, and that's why it's been going up along with the indices. And that part is not a conspiracy. They've actually said there's QE going on for gold, which is crazy. Like, that's never happened. And gold hit the highest market cap it's ever hit. Yeah, I've never actually tried to day trade gold futures or silver futures at all. Actually, I think when I was doing the Apex sniper system, I think I tried it before. But it was just like random trades. I probably didn't know what I was doing. It was just probably had a losing day on NQ and said, I'm going to try something else. I hate NQ. Oh, 100% Max. That's for sure. They're cooking the books, and they're actually literally said that the Fed is rebalancing like their balance sheet. Dude, there's some crazy stuff going on right now. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on. That's what I mean. Like, there's so many things happening that are legit actually happening. And that's why like the other part of it, the conspiracy part, uh, is like not too far fetched, and it's like, man, if they're doing this stuff, um, the other stuff I'm hearing doesn't sound very far off. Because when it comes to the finances and economics and stuff, like I don't put it past anybody in these positions to do things right like that, or like whoa, I can't believe they're doing that. Yeah, definitely called fraud. There is no there's also no insider trading either if you're certain people, a lot of certain people on a lot of sides of the spectrum. All right, I'm only going to give it a few more minutes here. Right to the end dog, new day opening gap. Yeah, I don't have my new day opening gaps here because there wasn't. I don't have any. Oh, wait, I do. I have some down here, but I only keep like my last 5 days worth of new day opening gaps. So I need to clean out some of these. Got a bunch of new week opening gaps down here. I keep my stuff in folders. Turn them on and turn them off. So this 10-3 new day opening gap. And there was a lot of them over the past couple weeks that were like a point or 2 points. And I didn't care about those. 10-8. Get rid of that. 10-14. I'll probably get rid of that, but I don't know how many more I have. Let's see. I only have 2 more. Oh, here's one. No? Oh, I put that in the wrong folder. There we go. Yeah, so I only have 1 new day opening gap left. So I'm going to leave that until I add another one. So it doesn't, because if you empty out your folder, then your folder disappears. And I don't want my folder to disappear. So I'm going to wait. Yeah, I mean, because those new day opening gaps, they'll still respect it if it's older than 5 days, but those 5 days is when it's the most sensitive, and then from there, like I typically will have I want a stronger target than a older new day opening gap. That's the only reason why I'd have, new day opening gaps are mostly going to be for targets. So if it's older than 5 days, I want a stronger target than that. Unless you have a stack, like 5 new day opening gaps in the same place. You have a daily volume imbalance? Let's see. Maybe I don't have a daily volume imbalance. Maybe it's tiny. Let's see how. Ooh, it might be very tiny. Let's see. What's the close here? 289.25. The open. Yeah, it's about 1 3/4 points. Wait, no. The close. 289.25. And the open. 287.75. Yeah, very small. But yeah, there is one technically. See if I mark it. Look at that. It is hitting that. See what that looks like on the 1 minute. Oh, got you. Y'all seen that on MNQ? Yeah, it's a couple points right there. All right, y'all. Well, there's nothing good for me today. I'm not liking anything. We're in this 4 hour. We rebalanced that 4 hour fair value gap finally, but at this point, like maybe the 1050 macro time, we might get something. But I'm really not. Like I said, I don't have any expectation of like, oh, it's gotta come down. So the only thing I would wait for, or that I would do, is if it just really displaces down and is really obvious. But other than that, nah, nothing. So for me, that's it. That's it. I'm not going to force anything. There's no point. It's already 10:36, so that's going to be done for me. And an unfortunate thing is there's a good chance tomorrow and Wednesday the same thing. Maybe not as much Wednesday, because Wednesday we would have already had the Netflix earnings out. So maybe Wednesday, but we'll see. That's all we can do, right? Just show up and find out. Obviously, when you're live streaming, you want to take a trade. But y'all know me. I don't care. I'm here. Mainly, I want to show the discipline, the patience, and actual good, boring trading. Yep. So just again, as a reminder, you'll always see the upcoming live pending on my channel. If I'm doing it the next day, I'll always put out a post on YouTube too to let you know if I'm not. But yeah, I plan on. I'm back for pretty much every day, unless I has something going on that I can't get away from. But otherwise, just expect it back here the same time every day. So I appreciate all of y'all for being here and coming back on my first day back. And you know, hopefully we keep it going, keep a good stream, keep the good vibes going, and get some good trades. So all right. That's going to be a wrap. I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take it easy. And as always, trade well, everybody.